Let me start by warmly welcoming the Prime Minister of Finland, Petteri Orpo, to the European Parliament. I'm very happy to see you here, dear Prime Minister. Hyvä Petteri. Congratulations on your convincing election as Prime Minister of Finland last week and the vote of confidence that you got with your government this morning from Eduskunta. In our meeting today, we discussed European security and our continued support to Ukraine, as well as other issues on the agenda of tomorrow's European Council. It was also good to hear from you about Finland's objectives in the European Union. I am reassured to see that Finland's new government is resolutely pro-European and that its governmental programme places the EU as Finland's most important frame of reference. In the European Parliament, you will find an ally for the promotion of fundamental rights and the rule of law. We know we can trust you as an active, reliable and solution-oriented member state, and we look forward to working with you for a stronger, more competitive and dynamic union. The latest events in Russia have shown its fragility, but at the same time underlined the need for us to strengthen European security and step up our support to Ukraine. We must pursue on the path agreed a year ago in Versailles to boost our common defence in complementarity and not in competition with NATO. I was also pleased to see your government's decision to allocate the biggest portion of Finnish development aid to Ukraine and your support to its European path. The additional 50 billion euro support for Ukraine's reconstruction announced last week in the context of the multi-annual financial framework revision is therefore welcome. Finally, on a personal note, I would really like to thank you, Petteri, also in advance. We know each other for a long time as friends, but now also as colleagues, and I very much look forward to working with you across all the institutions. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam President. This was a great pleasure to me to come here as a Prime Minister of Finland, and so fast with my good friend Roberta here in the Parliament. As I said, we have done good cooperation for years, and I'm looking forward to continue this good cooperation. But I want to tell you, and I told to Roberta, that our new government is going to continue the active role in European policies. We are going to be pro-Europeans, pro-Ukraine, pro-human rights, and we are going to fight against climate change. So you can count on us. Our active role in EU policy will continue. At this moment, the most important issue is to support Ukraine. And we have to continue together. Our strong support to Ukraine to help them to win and have a peace with just Ukrainian terms. Last weekend we saw very difficult situations in Russia, and we don't know yet what has happened and what is going to happen next. But what we know is that we need stronger European Union. We need more defense. We need more solidarity together. And we have to take care of our security. But I'm ready to work together to make European Union stronger. And once again, you can count on us. Thank you so much.
Finnish national broadcaster YLE here in Brussels. On Ukraine, what concrete results, decisions are you expecting from tomorrow's summit here in Brussels? And a more detailed question, do you see that the EU countries could agree on a mechanism how to use Russian frozen assets swiftly to compensate Ukraine, regardless of the concerns regarding the banking system, for instance, and rule of law?
So thank you for this. First of all, we didn't mention this before, but very noteworthy development over the last hours that there was a decision an agreement between the Council and the Parliament on EDIRPA, which is legislation on common procurement, which will boost the defense supply and procurement for Ukraine. We also will be doing this in alignment with the ongoing negotiations of the ammunition proposal, the so-called ASAP. We see that negotiations could be concluded already at the beginning of July. With unprecedented speed, the European Union has acted in order to respond to Ukraine's immediate needs. In the longer term, happy to see that the 11th package of sanctions have been adopted. Very much welcome. I will say this tomorrow during the European Council. Secondly, that we need to continue to ensure that the loopholes that still exist and the circumventing that still exists within the first 10 packages are closed. And we would, as a parliament, ask that we get stronger commitment on the starting of accession negotiations already this year. On the seizure of frozen assets, this was a discussion that we had this morning also with the Prime Minister of Estonia, who was here. The discussion is, do we have a situation where taxpayers, our citizens, are paying for the war in Russia against Ukraine, by Russia against Ukraine? Are we going to allow for the reconstruction of Ukraine that was done brutally, illegally, in the most unjustified manner against a destruction by a country whose assets could not be accessed? So we are very much in favor of looking into all legal solutions, identifying a legal pathway, identifying how we can manage to do this. There can be certain structures that are identified at a national level, but definitely something has to be done at a European level too. And that's why last week's pronunciations were welcome. We look forward to seeing a proper structure.
Thank you so much for your important question, and it was excellent answer. In general, we have to send a clear signal to Ukraine and Russia that the EU will continue its strong support to Ukraine as long as it takes. We have to continue aid in military, political, humanitarian. We have to continue sanctions, etc. And on frozen assets, I think that Commission's idea to use so-called windfall revenues, it's good, and I'm waiting for a real proposal. Also, Commission's proposal in MFF that we used, I create new 50 billion fund to help Ukraine in coming years. It's good, and we are waiting the proposal, but we are ready to work with it.
I'm from Helsingin Sanomat, Finland. I would like to ask about European politics and the next EU election. What is your take, or what is your opinion about the Spitzenkandidat system? Is it something that will benefit the elections and make people vote more, or is it worth trying again?
Yes. Parliament's position is very clear. We fully support the Spitzenkandidat process. This is a reflection of a democratic exercise. We are a unique parliament which brings together the populations of all member states with a message that this European Union has delivered over the past now 4, then hopefully 5 years, with unprecedented unity, first during a pandemic, now during a war, and also with a very volatile geopolitical situation that we have. It would also mean that this parliament expressly and resoundly selects the next Commission President and votes on the College of Commissioners. This is a role that this Parliament has, and a role that this Parliament very much treasures, will keep and will fight for. As regards the campaign, of course, it is different from country to country. We will have 4 countries where 16-year-olds will vote for the first time. That is a specific campaign, but one where I, as President of this House, with responsibility also with my colleagues, current members and incoming members of the European Parliament, will fight for a pro-European constructive approach in the center of the political spectrum. Majorities are found in this House on everything, whether it is Ukraine, whether it is migration, whether it is files on climate, on digital or artificial intelligence. That's where we have shown our strength with proper, thought-out, sounded, costed legislation. I think that that's where the Parliament's crucial role is. It is one that it very much uses with responsibility, and it's one where we have to campaign for in order to prepare for the next mandate.
What an excellent answer. That is why she is the President of the Parliament. But very shortly, I support Spitzenkandidat system, but I think that we must work with it and make it well known for the people. But I think it's a good idea and good system. We have to continue.